Welcome to If I Only Had 10 Minutes. And today, this is Monica Talan. And today I'm thrilled to welcome one of my favorite people in general, but also I guess I should start saying one of my favorite humans, Rebecca Gonzales. Rebecca, welcome.
Thank you. So nice to chat with you today.
Now, a lot of people don't know you, so can you tell us a little bit about who is Rebecca? Not your Twitter version, maybe Twitter premium version.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm Rebecca Gonzales. I am an American immigrant living in Lisbon, Portugal, where I moved a little over a year ago after spending most of my adult life in Austin, Texas. My career has been a 30-year career in technology. I started in tech communications. I moved into product, project management, and brand management, and then went into AI about 9 years ago. So, in the past 9 years, I've been focusing specifically on the development, design, and deployment of AI in a responsible way. And yeah, I'm a cat mom, and I am. My husband and I live here in lovely, sunny Lisbon.
That's amazing. Now, talking about responsible AI, you're going to be leading the Responsible AI Comms Lab for Comms Collective. Tell us, what is the one thing you would want people to know that we're trying to do with it?
So, the one thing I want to empower the leaders that come into the course is basically the key knowledge that everyone has a part to play in artificial intelligence. And especially when we talk about the development and deployment of those systems. So I feel like as communicators, I mentioned I started as a communicator. As communicators, I feel like when the conversation is around technology, we get brought in too late, after the technology has been developed, after the technology, or when the technology is being deployed. And then as communicators, we're also left to kind of pick up the pieces if something goes wrong, right? So with this course, I want to teach these leaders the right questions to ask, the right way to use the technology, and basically to hold their own in these spaces, because I know how difficult that can be as a communicator, to say, here are the questions I have, and I want to understand this because I need to be prepared for anything that might happen. And we've seen multiple times where this technology has gone off the rails, has gone in a way that it wasn't intended to. Not all the time has it been malicious, but it's always the communicators that are left to pick up the pieces. So I want them to be prepared, because this technology isn't going anywhere. It's becoming more and more ubiquitous. So how can we use the technology and speaking up and using your voice and being involved?
One of my favorite things about you leading this role is, like you said, your background is communications. Tell us a little bit about like how you went from communications to leading some of Amazon's work in generative AI.
So for me, the transition to technology was natural, because coming out of journalism, you are taught to ask questions and not to be afraid to ask those questions. And then I just naturally was drawn to technology, and I wanted to know all about it. So when I got my first job with the startup, I was like, database, server, what's that? Right. So I was able to sit with the engineers and talk to them about what was happening. I mean, this is how old I am. We barely had email when I started my first job. Like, email and the web was a brand new thing. So I was just naturally drawn to it. So I asked questions, and I used all those talents that I had from the communication side to work my way into these roles. I could write and I could ask questions. And I know, to a lot of communicators, those two things don't seem like they're talents, but they really are, especially when you're dealing with people that aren't communicators and they're never really focused on writing. Right. So I was able to take my natural curiosity and work in those ways. So started in startups that needed writers for content. Then I moved into more larger startups. Then I went to work for Dell as a marketing consultant, because again, they needed someone to tell stories. and to manage these big events and these big launches. So that's when I got into product launch and product marketing. And then I continued to go in that direction. Well, I ended up in a consulting role, and I was doing a lot of big data work. And I sat with the data scientists and I said, there's got to be something else. Like, we're just starting to scratch the surface with big data. What else is next? And these data scientists said, this was like 2017. They said, well, there's this cool thing called AI, and we could really do something about that. So I started kind of an AI practice within this small boutique marketing firm. And yeah, so then I just dove in, as they say, and really focused the rest of my career since then on AI and how it's developed and deployed.
So, what is the most ridiculous thing you've had to explain as a communicator?
Ah, this is okay. This story shows how old I am and how ridiculous this was. So one of my first jobs that was customer facing is when I was a producer at Excite. And so at Excite, that was a competition for Yahoo, which then both died when Google came along. But I was at Excite, and our big client was a large large entertainment channel. Large entertainment channel, trying to not to break any confidences here, large entertainment channel that wanted to do a live stream event on the internet because everybody was talking about live stream. Well, I hate to break it to everyone on this call, but at the time, there was no such thing as broadband. Everybody was using dial-up. So I had to sit, and I didn't even have to talk to the engineers about this. The pipe that connects your computer to the internet carries voice. It does not carry video. So I had to sit in front of a lot of major entertainment executives and explain to them why they could not do a live stream sporting event in 1996. I think might have been the year. So yeah.
Well, they had a vision, though. I mean,
they did, and they are very successful at it right now, and they have a very successful app that they stream almost everything, but it's been a few years, like 30.
So one of the questions we get a lot, we see a lot of young students who are trying to figure out how they're going to find a job, and with AI, the impact that AI is having. What would you tell somebody who's just entering the workforce? How do they stand out, especially in communications?
So I feel like honing your skills, and this did not change from when I started. Honing your skills in writing is really going to help you stand out. As you and I both know, a lot of people are using ChatGPT to write, but it's not good. Let's be honest, right? It is not a great experience. You get a better experience, in my opinion, writing your own and then using it to edit or to add or to enhance what you've already done. So sticking to the basics, and I know that sounds super not sexy, and I get it, but sticking to the basics and being a strong writer, because you don't know what's going to happen. There might be a backlash at one point. So if you're relying on tools right now, you are putting yourself at a disadvantage. So staying the course, keeping those skills, those writing skills, and those interpersonal skills, right? So that once you get these writing and interpersonal skills down, your soft skills, these are very hard. They don't teach you these things in school. Once you get these down, finding your first job, the market is really tough right now. I get that. It's not going to be easy, but if you can stand out in the ways that you know the technology, yes, I know how to use it, but I use it to enhance what I already do. I think that will set you apart.
And I think that's part of responsible AI. So I'm going to plug the course. Please join us. It's a great program, and you'll learn from one of the best. But one last question, Rebecca. If you had 10 additional minutes in your day, what would you do with those 10 minutes?
If I had 10 additional minutes in my day, I would sit out on my patio more and enjoy the view.
Love it. Thank you so much, Rebecca. That's 10 minutes. See, Court, a fractional podcast.
Thank you.